listening in association with the Quirky Café and Wirral Wave Radio to The Local Listen. The Local Listen with Mandi and Mike by Quirky Café Hoylake in association with Wirral Wave Radio.
Welcome to The Local Listen. This is a monthly audio newsletter covering Hoylake, Meols and West Kirby.
And on this, we're going to be covering all sorts of things, anything and everything that really happens in or affects the local community.
We'll be having interviews and regular features, but we really want to hear from you. So if you've got something interesting you'd like to talk about,
you can drop us a WhatsApp on 07421 355 405. And you can access the newsletter via our website on thequirky.uk or via wirralwave.co.uk.
Hello, I'm Paul Harris, founder and presenter on Wirral's local community radio station, Wirral Wave Radio, which you can find on the internet. Just go to wirralwave.co.uk. That's wirralwave.co.uk. Now, I'm so thrilled to be associated with a new audio newsletter that has been produced in collaboration with the Quirky Café Hoylake and ourselves here at Wirral Wave. It's called The Local Listen, and it will cover news and events from Hoylake, Meols and West Kirby. It will be a production with lots of local news and events, and hopefully you'll listen into it. And we'll be telling you a little bit more on how to contribute any news and features later in this audio newsletter.
The Local Listen. So, hi, I'm Mandi.
And I'm Michael Farrie.
And this is our very first audio newsletter for the Quirky Community Hub, CIC, or as we like to call it, The Quirky.
The Quirky.
Or as we like to call it,
The Quirky.
And believe me, we all certainly live up to our name.
So who are we?
What's a community hub?
And why are we doing an audio newsletter?
Well, let's start at the very beginning, in the words of Julie Andrews. So I've been working at the Quirky Community Hub for a few months now. I initially started as a volunteer. I wasn't even looking for a volunteering role. In fact, I kind of stumbled across the Quirky, really. I connected with Suzanne, our founder. Side note, Suzanne absolutely hates being referred to as the founder. And actually, that was one of the first things I noticed about Suzanne. I was actually really blown away with how incredibly humble she is, but her passion is absolutely contagious. Round about the same time I started, Yelena came on board as well, and let me tell you, she's a whiz. Being Gen Z, by the way, I had to Google that.
Wow.
She is very techy, uber organised. She's even made us a website, a booking system, and has even got me and Suzanne using Google Calendar. I never thought I would see the day. Poor Yelena has really got her work cut out with a couple of Gen X, I also had to Google that, technophobic, middle-aged women who also both happen to have ADHD. But one thing the three of us all have in common is our passion for helping other people and our love of the community.
Hopefully I do have that in common. And I'm technically an ex-Xennial as well, apparently. You put a small window of people who were born between 1977 and 81 or something. And then it goes into millennial, and then it goes into Gen Z.
Yeah.
So, but we are a bit, obviously sometimes you can get a bit overwhelmed with the technical stuff that's needed to set this sort of stuff up. But Yelena is a whiz at this. And here we are now making you a radio programme as well.
I know. So, Michael, do you want to just tell the listeners a little bit about how you found the Quirky and what it means to you?
Now, I kind of just dropped in at first, and it was live music, and you could already feel it was kind of a different place. Like the cafe was a bit more like, it wasn't just a straightforward, oh, this is a cafe and what have you. It was a place that was really sort of inclusive and creative, and it attracts the sort of people who are more creative and differently minded, and therefore you get people who are neurodiverse who come, and there's activities to do with it. So it started falling in with that and getting involved a bit more beyond just turning up for the live music that happens, I think, once a week, and the open mic as well. There's the Tuesday lunchtime at 12, and then there's
live with lunch,
and then you've got the Saturday afternoon one as well. So I think that's what often happens here. You end up coming here and becoming part of the community, not just the customer. So you start becoming part of the Quirky family, don't you?
Yeah,
that's what happens.
This is what we love: is you pop in for a coffee, and the next minute you're volunteering, and who knows what else. And one thing we love about the Quirky is no day is ever the same, which I love, because I would be bored out of my brain, stuck in an office doing the same thing every day.
Doing the same routine, the 9 to 5.
Same routine. Every day here is different, and you literally never know what's going to happen from 1 minute.
And it helps people as well, doesn't it? I suppose. So who are not in the 9 to 5 routine, they also need company and things like that.
Absolutely.
So
So what is a community hub? Well, it's a space that is open and accessible by the local community. It's a dedicated place where everyone feels welcome, connected and empowered. Our mission is to support families and individuals across the Wirral. And being a CIC, and I only found this out a few months ago, which stands for a Community Interest Company, this basically means that any profit we make goes back into the company to help us support the local community. Anyway, I could bang on all day about what we do here at the Quirky, the amazing people we meet who also form the Quirky. We always say the Quirky isn't the place, it's the people. It's the people that make it. And we really wanted to do an audio newsletter because we just thought it was a little bit more inclusive. Would you agree, Michael?
Yeah, I think so.
Different.
Yeah. So the idea is that you can actually go and get interviews with the sort of things that people are facing, what they're talking about. So it could be things in the community. It could be everything from the parking charges, to the council, through to the music and creativity that people are doing, or even issues that people are facing in their lives. When they're dealing with, say, loneliness, being on the spectrum, not feeling as included, mental health, all those sorts of things. And actually, this is part of what brings people together as well, is actually making a program for all of us that we can just talk about what it is, our life, or the issues in our lives, and our local area, what it means to us. And,
absolutely. And I'll just tell you a little bit about what we do at the Quirky, because we do so much, believe me, so much so I've had to write a list of everything we do.
Oh yeah, you've typed it up and everything.
There is a lot that goes on here. So every Tuesday, as Michael has already mentioned, you can come along for Live with Lunch, which is local artists performing live while you eat. There's no charge, obviously you just pay for your lunch, but it's just a great opportunity to listen to local artists, and it just gives them a little bit of exposure and experience performing in front of an audience. I nearly said live studio audience. It's not a live studio audience.
No,
we're just in front of an audience. So, Michael, do you want to tell us a bit more about what goes on here, the sort of events we have?
So that's just 1 hour. So if you look at what goes on throughout a lot of the week and things, you've got quite a big list here. Clothes swapping events, which is actually good to cut down on how much it would cost to buy new clothes and things, where you can bring good quality clothing that you've got and swap it for something else. We have, there's a sound bath evening, isn't there? There's like a 7 o'clock. I've not been to that one yet, but it does sound relaxing. It's a Monday night.
I experienced that. That was fabulous.
Yeah, it sounds an interesting idea. I can get the idea of what it might be, but you'd have to experience it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sure you would. There's a menopause group. I guess I might be the wrong gender, but who knows? You've got your middle-age crisis, haven't you? Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis. I'd know all about that. Michael did very well then to say the word menopause without cringing, so well done, Michael.
Yeah, well, it makes we've got something in common in our 40s there, but it's support for people, isn't it? And then you've got a music quiz. I've been writing questions for that, so occasionally we do that. You sometimes follow the live music with that, and then it's basically like a pub quiz, basically, without it being a pub and it being the daytime. Maybe without alcohol. Well, Quirky and Able is an interesting one as well. That's a group that is specifically for adults with additional needs. So, this could be neurodiversity, but it could be ADHD, it could be all sorts of things, really. And also, again, this provides, company support.
To socialise.
To socialise, yes. Because you can come in here and meet people, rather you might be on your own. You might not, but because the Quirky's here, and that's good about that one. But there's also activities with it as well. Playing bingo, for example. Obviously, learning to make jewellery is one, and even And I think I need this, to be honest, because when I'm on my own, I just pop in whatever it is straight into the microwave or whatever, and there's your comfort food. But if you're not cooking properly, you're not getting the proper ingredients that will give you a proper
the nutrition.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically, what keeps you more alive than that does. So learning to cook. And speaking of cooking, Yelena here as well does cooking lessons for home-educated children who come in during the day. So they've made pasta from scratch, which I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Interesting to see what that involves, because you see.
See, I'm not going to lie. I just grab a packet, chuck it in the pan, bang in the hot water, but not with Yelena. Proper pasta from scratch with a pasta machine. It was incredible.
It's like making pizza from scratch. There's more steps. It's like the dough, the topping, so much more to it. Sushi as well. She's done sushi. Wow. Which I think actually didn't realise for ages just means fish.
Oh, I didn't know that. Every day's a school day, Michael.
It's like a posher word for fish, but sushi. We're having sushi, but yeah, but some good recipes there. There's also science lessons. There's gardening, which is interesting. Little bosses as well, where children learn to be entrepreneurs. I want to do this.
Yeah,
I want to do this. And there's little broadcasters as well. That's an interesting one that I've heard about. Little bosses and little broadcasters.
Yeah.
And we've even got, and I know you've just launched this recently, haven't you?
Yes.
The Quirky Handyman service.
So we often get approached by people who maybe live on their own. They're, not great at DIY. So we decided to launch a handyman service, and it's business is booming, let's put it that way. But what we thought was really important is for somebody who's living on their own, they want somebody who's very trustworthy, reliable, and isn't going to rip them off.
No.
So we're very competitively priced.
Well, that's a good reason for that, actually. And I was reading this article that just came out, and it was about how Gen Z doesn't know how to change a light bulb. So it's pretty relevant to this, isn't it? So literally, you're a bit scared of either getting an electric shock or it burning your hand, aren't you?
Yes.
And you've got to stand on something. You've got it. And that most people in Gen Z don't even change their light bulbs anymore.
Don't know how to change a light bulb. They'd get somebody out, a handyman. So if you need a light bulb changing and you're Gen Z,
Hint,
give us a call.
Just unscrew it. Turn it off and unscrew it. Oh, there's more to it than that, because that's the Quirky Handyman service, yes.
Yeah.
So,
but we also have Michael and I, both being neurodiverse, are passionate about supporting other people in the same situation. So we have an ADHD and autism. How do we refer to that? ADHD and autism?
Actually, it's just a simple amalgamation. I've heard people saying this more and more in the last year, just simply saying ADHD.
ADHD, that's the one. ADHD. And also anxiety, that's something that a lot of people are facing on a daily basis. Anxiety is a normal part of life, but for some people, particularly if you are neurodivergent, it can really be quite debilitating.
It's always there in the background of your thoughts, and you're always doubting everything, aren't you?
Overthinking, that's me, overthinking, so it can manifest in so many different ways, but no, we thought it was really important to have a support group. So we did have it, we were running it during the day, but more and more people were contacting us to say, could you run it of an evening? So that's something we've taken on board.
We're doing more evening things now for when people are doing things in the day.
Yeah,
you're going to be there in the evening as well.
We also have a crochet group. I've never dabbled in crochet myself, but we have a crochet group, and we're also starting a local history group. So we've got so much on offer. But the best way to keep up to date with what's happening is by following our shiny new website, which is www.thequirky.uk, or by following us on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, and you've got WhatsApp and all that, because you've got to have all them, haven't you, now?
Absolutely, yeah.
So far we've done it in quarter of an hour what the Quirky is about, but you could pop in and find out even more yourself.
Absolutely.
So it's down East Market Street, isn't it? And it's just, you've got this little sign of a little P, haven't you, like to go to the car park.
Parking.
You go down there, and it's in there. It's like a converted, they used to repair bikes in here or something.
That's right. So for those of you who don't know where we're located, we're within the grounds of Holy Trinity School, so it's 124E Market Street, and a lot of people don't know we're here. They just kind of stumble across us, but pop in, have a cuppa, come and see what we've got on offer.
In Hoylake, of course,
Hoylake,
because of all the other market streets there are in the Wirral. Well,
Yes.
not that many.
Yes, Hoylake. I should have been more specific.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, it's not just about us, though, because we just want to know all about you as well. And you might be listening to this now, getting curious about the Quirky. So we want to know what's going on in the community out there, sort of Hoylake, West Kirby, Meols, and the greater Wirral as well. Maybe even Liverpool, who knows. But we really want to keep it positive and upbeat, and even better if we can make it funny as well. So always have a bit of a laugh. So we'll have a regular segment on this show called Local Heroes, where we want to hear about you people locally who have gone above and beyond to help other people or just do some good. Maybe you've raised money for a good cause. You can get in touch with us via our WhatsApp and also on that site there, thequirky.uk, as well as the Facebook page, which I assume you just type, what do you type there, Quirky Café?
Quirky, if you just type in the Quirky, and it will come up straight away on Facebook with our Facebook page.
So that's it. That's kind of the introduction to this from us. And what we're going to do is you're going to hear a few interviews from, over time as well, from various people who've got their stories to tell. We might just have one of them now, in fact. The local business. Pauline has recently become a customer of the Quirky, and what she's found here is a community that really gives her some extra company and is almost like a bit of a lifeline. She describes her experience as being more than just going to a regular cafe. So I'm here in the Quirky Café Hoylake with Pauline. You are a regular customer.
Yeah.
And so what is it that you like about coming in here?
Well, I'm new to the Wirral, and I found it really difficult to find places to actually just meet people and make meaningful connections. There's loads online and Zoom and God knows what. And when I found the Quirky, it was somewhere where you have a big smile and a big hug if you need it, and people saying hello to you and remembering your name, and it just makes such a difference. We came here at Christmas. My ex-husband is in a care home, so Suzanne said, no problem, bring him along, and he absolutely loved it, and he said it's the best Christmas he's had for years. He said it was like a proper home Christmas.
What's interesting is that a lot of people are just left on their own. Sometimes people say, lots of other social groups or events say, we're breaking for Christmas.
Yes.
And there's nothing over the whole season.
Yeah.
And it takes somewhat into January. And then you do think, what if people actually, that's their only time to actually go out and meet people or whatever.
Yeah.
And then nothing's there over Christmas except for maybe what's on the telly, etc.
And people think everybody's got family, and not everybody does have family. And moving here recently, I mean, I haven't had a chance to build up many friendships yet.
Because you have to start over then,
all
don't you?
over again,
so
yeah.
how come you did move into the Wirral?
Main reason was he was in a care home in Wales and he was terribly unhappy, and he asked me he was born and bred in Birkenhead. He left when he was 16, and he always regretted leaving because he wanted to go to Liverpool Art School and, didn't. So he said, no, please just get me back to the Wirral. And I said, well, I can't live in North Wales and try and look after him, even though he's in a care home on the Wirral, and particularly with declining years myself and declining eyesight. So I thought the only thing I could do was up and move here, which has been a blessing in disguise because my health needs are being met here in a way they
Well, you're
need
quite
in Wales.
far into North Wales.
No, just in Rose-on-Sea, but still, sort of give the weather and winter and, Yeah.
It's quite a difference, so yeah, it's quite a long way you'd have to go each and every time. So are you in Hoylake now, or?
No, I'm in Greasby.
Greasby, and it is still quite close.
It's a good jumping off point, yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And have you actually met some new friends through the cafe?
I'm beginning to, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the sort of people I know to greet by name, which is nice,
Yes.
Yeah, rather than sort of walking up and down the streets and or sitting in a pub on your own, which can be pretty...
Because no one comes up to you, do they?
No.
Oh, it's quite hard. I think I did it after splitting up with someone, and nobody... You have to ask to be involved, and I think that's the difference here, is that they will involve you, and, that's what's great.
You step over the door, and it's intergenerational, which is really nice, because you can go and sit in ghettos for old people, or, and so many things, when I'm looking for, seem to be children, or for adults it's all at night.
You do forget older people, because you're people too, you're just the same, you have the same thoughts, and then you're often left out of things, and then wondering what to do with your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also sort of going out at night, I can't drive at night anymore, so a lot of things for adults are at night time. So to actually find somewhere where you can come in and just be yourself, and other people are being themselves. Nobody's got airs or graces, And nobody's here for a purpose. We haven't got a label over ourselves saying, mental health or old person or, whatever. You just come in and
just need
be.
connections. You need you need some.
And somewhere that the dog can come and be welcomed as well. They always offer her a sausage, and that makes such a difference. I don't have to creep around the door and say, "Can I bring my dog in?"
A lot of places you can't do that, can you?
Oh God, yeah.
You can't do.
Yeah, and then I just have to go away. Yeah.
So, have you done any activities, as well? Joined in on that?
Fairly recently, I've been coming here, so not yet. I've come to some of the Tuesday singing. That's lovely.
Oh yeah, I've got a quiz as well. That's going to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, so different things coming up. I've met a few people, so yeah. So I mean, the most important thing is just sort of somewhere where we can just come in and relax, which is really nice. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, thanks for speaking on. And this is the first time we've tried to put a sort of radio program, if I like, together. And it's just interesting to hear from people like you that use the cafe, come in and are part of the community here. So yes, it's actually going to be called the Local Listen, I think.
That sounds good, because they do. They listen here. Yes. Very few people and places do.
The Local Listen. You're listening in association with the Quirky Café and Wirral Wave Radio to the Local Listen.
Coming up next, we've got an interview with Jan from Hoylake Meols in Bloom. They are a fantastic organisation who provide and maintain all the planters in our local community and just keep it looking beautiful. Okay, we've got the lovely Jan from Hoylake In Bloom joining us today at the Quirky Community Hub. So we're just going to have a little chat with Jan, and she can tell us a bit more about Hoylake In Bloom. So how did you get started, first of all, Jan? For those people in Hoylake who don't know about you and what you do, can you give us a little bit of background?
Yeah, okay. Well, the background, we started, really, the seeds were sown, if I can say the pun. The seeds were sown.
Very much intended.
In about the year 2000, to be honest with you, we planted about 3,000 daffodils up near the quadrant, and that was sort of the beginning. And then we planted trees outside shops. Individual shops had trees. A lot of that has changed and evolved over the years, but that was the beginning. And then we went on to, in 2005, there was a massive regeneration of Hoylake at the top end of Hoylake, because the golf was coming back in 2006 after
I remember that, yeah.
a gap from 1967. So it was a big, long gap, and everybody was wildly excited. Some people were excited, some people were like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen here? But because the town was being regenerated, and I was a shopkeeper up in town, my husband and I decided to get onto the regeneration committee as business owners, because we thought we'd want to know what on earth they're planning to do outside our shop. Mm-hmm. And my colleague Vicky, she joined as a resident. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of input on what happened to Hoylake.
So tell us a bit more about Hoylake In Bloom. So obviously, for those people who don't know, you do a huge event every year.
Yes.
That's very well known in the community. People queue, don't they? Can you tell us a bit about that, Jan?
Yeah. Well, the story. It's a garden party, and it's very quintessentially English. We have cake, we have teas and cakes, we have music, but the big draw is the plant sale. And the plant sale is a plant bring and buy. So people bring us plants that when you've split perennials or you've grown too many seeds, because let's face it, you get 500 seeds in a packet and then you always grow too many. Just pop them on, grow them on. If you're digging up a perennial, do not bin anything, chop it up, pot it on, and we'll sell it. So it's become very well known that all the plants that we sell are local. They're not forced, they're not come from Holland, they're all local, out of local gardens, so they will do well in your gardens.
So they do take place every year?
This happens every year in June. This year it's going to be the 28th of June. Last year we had probably the only day of brilliant sunshine and 72-degree heat.
Oh my word.
It rained the rest.
Despite 24 being apparently the warmest year of record. We didn't really get much of that in Britain, did we?
No.
I remember we didn't.
Wet and warm maybe, but this, because we plant in Hoylake In Bloom, we've been planting for drought for the last few years, and what have we had? We've had rain ever since we planted for drought, but that's gardening. So yeah, we had a glorious day. Probably about 400 to 500 people came through.
Wow.
And you have it going up the street as well. Do you have hanging baskets, or do you?
We do. We do the whole of Market Street. all the way down to Birkenhead, all the way down to Meols. So we are Hoylake and Meols in Bloom.
Right down the A553. Oh, yeah.
No. I stop at the roundabout and I stop at Meols Bridge.
Funny if it did all go all the way down Conway Street.
Do not ask me to do anything past the roundabout. Yeah. I'm learning to say no. We've got 15 tubs. We were offered originally hanging baskets, but I refused to swing from a lamppost trying to water them.
I don't blame you.
on the high street. So we have 15 tubs. We've got 8 barrier baskets, which are double barrier baskets. They're round by the roundabout on the railings. And we have a beautiful flower bed from the roundabout down to Queen's Road. And it's a big herbaceous border. 2 of our volunteers do it, and it's their baby. And it is stunning. People come and photograph it from whenever they come to visit. It's absolutely beautiful. And then we have across the road from that in the quadrant, we have 2 beds. Last year we actually planted some roses, specific roses, and it's an old rose called Peace. Now most people will say, oh, that was my granddad's favourite or my dad's favourite. It was bred in 1945 at the end of the Second World War.
Wow.
And at the end of the Second World War, every leader of the United Nations was given a peace rose. Now, I was thinking, do you know what? The world is in such a mess at the moment. I don't think Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin or anybody else is going to change their path because we've planted peace roses.
No.
But the wish is there. It's a beautiful rose. It's pale yellow with a pink tinge to it. So we've got those planted up there. We've planted now 500 tulips in the bed and about 3,000 daffodils all the way up that end. We had a community bulb plant last year. Asked all the community as well as our volunteers that we have already. We need more volunteers.
Oh, yes.
And you can also offer to volunteer in the Quirky Café. You do a fantastic job in the community as well. We will be working together, separate organisations, but we will be linking what we do together.
We'll be collaborating.
It's all about community.
Your local hero.
Our first local hero is Kaylee from Hoylake Co-op. Kaylee has been a huge supporter of ours at the Quirky Community Hub and actually provided mince pies and vegetables for our Christmas dinner campaign and has also provided cakes for our clothes swapping event. So thank you so much, Kaylee. Well done.
So, if you know someone that you could nominate that you think could be a local hero, you can get in touch with us on WhatsApp, leave a voice note or a message on 0741 355 405. The Local Listen. On the Local Listen now, I'm going to speak to Al Peters, who has been involved with the music industry for decades, working with the likes of Mick Hucknall before he became as famous as he did, Craig Charles, he's met The Who, and he also bumped into Frank Zappa. That's who we're going to speak about next. He's also worked with the likes of me on this interview. So I'm here with Al Peters again, but another one is meeting Frank Zappa, and you were in college, weren't you? And you'd have to throw it all away to go with him. He said, you've got to go with me now, or that's it. Didn't he? Yeah. Binary, yes or no? And you were thinking, well, I can't just throw 3 years of work away.
No, well, what happened was, I went to see the Mothers of Invention at Mountford Hall. That's Liverpool University. Because I used to work there with various bands, especially the Almost Blues, supporting the likes, The Who and Q-Tips and people like that. That's on Mountford Hall. So the social secretary asked me, Frank was looking for somewhere to go, that's Frank Zappa, after he'd finished his concert at Mountford Hall with the Mothers of Invention. And he said, where you asked me where I was going, I said, well, I'm going to meet my girlfriend who works at the Odd Spot in Bow Street. So you can come down with me if you like. So that's what we did, and I was quite surprised when standing next to Frank. When you see him on stage, he looks a lot taller. When he was off stage, he's a bit smaller than me, but he's a very gentle person. And we got down to the Odd Spot, and Frank had a milk, and I had a milk and Malibu.
You just had a milk?
And I didn't realise he was a lot smaller than what he appeared on stage. And once he heard about that I'd recorded a track of his, although we recorded a few on the Supercharge album Between Music and Madness in 1974, he'd heard that I'd recorded Blessed Relief on flugelhorn. And so he asked me, and I always remember this. He was now standing next to me at the bar, and my girlfriend at the time, Val, was there listening, because she sits behind the bar. And what happened was Frank asked me would I be interested in joining the Mothers of Invention on trumpet and flugelhorn. And I said, oh, wow, fantastic. I said, but I can't. If you can give me a bit more time, because I've got 3 weeks to complete with the finals of my diploma for Trinity College London. I've got 3 weeks to go after 3 years studying. So I'm really awkward. Could I have a little bit more time? He said, no, I have to know now. So I said, oh, well, I'll have to refuse. And Val, my girlfriend, said, what, you just refused Sound Clapper? I said, well, I didn't. Well, look at it this way. I'm just on the verge of finishing 3 years diploma for my licentiate at Trinity College London in the art of trumpet playing. And if I say yes to Frank, I would have to probably leave immediately and go on tour with the Mothers of Invention. And if I didn't shoot the band, then I'd have to do another year at music college. So I was a bit stuck. So I had to turn him down, and I know much to Val's disgust. But he was nice about it. But people have said to me since then, if you'd have joined the Mothers, you wouldn't be alive today. Because you were doing a bit of few drugs then. I said, I know, but it's one of those things that happens. But also I've got to remember that if I'm contracted to do something, I will do that. I've missed out on a few opportunities like that. So you got to think about it. I couldn't throw away 3 years. I think about my tutor, Handel Hone, who was originally the principal tutor at the Liverpool Philharmonic, and he would have been absolutely, shattered if I'd done that, because he'd spent so much time with me gearing up. Because don't forget, I had to study classical, and for my finals I had to do the Haydn Trumpet Concerto, Honegger, and Purcell Sonata in D. But what I would say, I did get my diploma, and they're very interesting. When I took my diploma at the Blue Coat and got my licentiate at Trinity College London, but I always remember one of the examiners saying to me, if a pupil came to you and said they would like to play trumpet like Miles Davis, what would you say? I would encourage them, because I'm a Miles Davis fan. And hence that recording, I did tribute to Miles Davis.
So it is hard sometimes, isn't it? But as I said, when you've done that, a map, and you got a load of amphetamines put in your hand with the Who. So I suppose it would have been wild, and who knows? Been around now. You've been around for so long, still doing music now. Well, thanks very much for sharing that experience in your life as well with Frank Zappa as well. Al Peters there.
The local wrestler. The best way to find out what's happening at the Quirky is by visiting our shiny new website at www.thequirky.uk.
And on Facebook you search for the Quirky Community Hub, and also there's the WhatsApp number 07421 355 405, and if you're coming on down then it's along the main drag of Hoylake. The actual address 124 East Market Street, and you just turn off the main road and go down to a little car park which is shared with a school, Holy Trinity. So it will get a little full at times, but you can kind of get a space in the morning towards lunchtime and after school more easily. And it's easily accessible via public transport. The 407 and 38 buses pass through Hoylake, close to the Quirky Café, and also it is near the Manor Road station. It's open Monday to Friday between 9am and 5pm and Saturday between 10am and 2pm, but if there are any events on a Saturday, it will then be open until 5 on Saturday as well. And you can put in the postcode CH47 3BH to find out just where we are on Google Maps. So we will look forward to seeing you. Thank you for listening to another edition of The Local Listen. That was The Local Listen, a Quirky Café and Channel 107 production in association with the Quirky Café and Wirral Wave Radio.
That was. So whilst editing, Michael and I discovered that we... I literally did it then. Whilst editing, Michael and I discovered that we really overuse the word so we've actually edited it out. But for a bit of fun, we thought we'd have an ometer. So, Michael, what's the count on the ometer this episode?
I've actually lost count, so as a challenge, you can have a listen to it and find out how often we do it, because there were so many. And here they all are. The thermometer. And now is a bit of an end thing. One of the musicians who comes to the live at lunchtime on a Tuesday and also sometimes to the monthly Saturday one as well on Saturday afternoon is Paul Rowlands, and he's written us a bit of a song. So we're going to play out with that one, the Quirky song.
To live life to the full, to get through every high and low, you've got to be a little quirky and let your quirkiness grow, and have a laugh, be creative, a little bit off the wall, shout aloud, strong and proud, be weird and daft, stand tall. Just down Hoylake Way, there is a place that'll make your day, midwifery and cooking and lovely food, they even have a clothes shop, but nothing rude. Have a laugh, be creative, a little bit off the wall, shout aloud, strong and proud, be weird and daft, stand tall. So come on in and enjoy it all, you'll always leave feeling perky, as Suzanne and her friends take over the world, you find it all at the Quirky. So have a laugh, be creative, a little bit off the wall, shout aloud, strong and proud, be weird and daft, stand tall. We love you Quirky, we do, we love you Quirky, we do, we love you Quirky, we do, oh Quirky, we love you. And have a laugh, be creative, a little bit off the wall, shout aloud, strong and proud, be weird and daft, stand tall. Thank you very much for the Quirky Café, thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much, thank you very much for the Quirky Café, thank you very, very, very much.